Hey guys, what is up? Shadolance back with another review. Today I'm going to be doing the Azazel Revived, a brand new assault rifle released by Nexon, and I have to say I am duly impressed. It is another demonic series weapon. A lot of people asked why the original Azazel was not considered part of the whole demonic series guns, it didn't have the correct skin coloring, and it didn't have the ability to not be renewed, which actually kind of annoys a lot of people, and in my opinion, it really annoys me too, because I really want to renew my Andromalius, because I'm not going to do the review on that unless one of my other clanmates happens to get it some way, and I can do the review from their account, which I do want to point out, I am doing this review from Prophecy's account, aka LGB Nerdy, and I know I'm going to grab an ultra kill right off the bat, followed by a few multi-kills, but the entire review doesn't go quite that way, so I start out doing fantastic, and I love this gun. The Azazel is my personal favorite assault rifle that's not an NX standard. I do have some NX standards that I like a little bit more in my opinion, but this is by far my favorite epic, and if I had the original, I actually prefer the original Azazel in my opinion. They have a different recoil pattern, and I do prefer the original Azazel's recoil pattern over this one, although actually I will say, as a fact, most players are going to prefer the revived. I keep wanting to say revised, it's because of the Barons. I want to say revised, but it's revived. People are going to prefer the Revived's recoil pattern, and the only reason because of that is it has more of an up and down pattern to it compared to left and right, which is more useful on an assault rifle. On an SMG, you typically want more left and right to cover ground because you're spraying, right? But on an assault rifle, you're going to want more up and down. But honestly, I use the Azazel more for spraying than for tapping, so I kind of prefer the left and right variant, as you might want to call it. At any rate, so the stats are the exact same for both guns. They both have an ammo capacity 35 of 105. Excuse me. And you get the Azazel Revived out of the Mist Whiskey, whereas the regular Azazel came out of the 3rd anniversary event, and it's only been released in a couple of events since. I don't remember if it's in any cases. It may or may not be, but at any rate, I am going to go ahead and read off the stats. These apply to both of the weapons. Damage of 43, portability of 70, rate of fire of 74, accuracy of 80, and recoil of 63. So the only difference from the Revived base to the original Azazel is that besides the recoil pattern, is the improved reload speed of the Revived. Now I haven't clocked it myself, but I've heard from pretty much everyone who has both guns or has used both guns that the Revived does have a noticeably faster reload speed. Now, as far as spread recovery, which I went ahead and said, both of them are the exact same. I've already tested that. They both have the same damage drop-off. They're the same guns in every single way, as they're the same gun, basically. They're both the same gun, except for the recoil pattern and the slightly faster, I am completely derping. Reload speed. I keep wanting to say draw speed, spread recovery, something that's not reload speed, but they are, in fact, quite the same, so. If you want to, unless you're some huge fan, because you cannot renew the Azazel Revived, I actually would not go for the Azazel Revived, and I'm purposely not for a reason, because I can't renew it, at least not as of right now. And also, I actually prefer the skin on the original Azazel, and because I can renew that one, I'm actually aiming for the original Azazel over this one. Not to mention it has my preferred recoil pattern, so just in general, it's going to work out a little better for me. Now, going into the actual gun more and a little less onto the comparison side, which is kind of strange because I typically should do the comparison after I talk about the gun. But anyway, it has a pretty fast reload recovery. I can't speak today. Recovery rate. The spread recovery is very, very fast on both guns, and the reload actually was kind of the big downfall of the first one. And I mean, in all honesty, every gun's going to have some kind of downfall, whether it's an epic or not. The only one that I can really think that there really isn't one for is the Andromalius. I have yet to find a downfall for that gun, which is why I still consider it the most OP weapon in the entire game, including over the TRGSE and the other MSR that I have. I would say that the Andromalius is the most OP weapon of the game, and until they release a new weapon that outdoes it, it's still the most OP in my opinion. But just saying. So the draw speed is the same on both guns. It's very, very fast. The draw speed is crazy fast. It's faster than the L85 series. It might be the fastest draw speed in the game for an assault rifle. I haven't clocked it compared to other assault rifles, but it's definitely on par for being possibly the fastest in the entire game, which is incredibly convenient. Also, the gun isn't very large on screen. I know I mentioned that in some of my other reviews about how the size of the gun on screen affects some things. The size of this gun is quite small. And I think I was starting to say it earlier, but the reload speed of the original Azazel is one of the biggest downfalls of the gun. That's fixed in this gun to some extent, however, it still doesn't have a super lightning fast reload speed. There are some basic GP guns that still have a faster reload speed than this, but the original Azazel is actually slower, so that's actually one of the big downfalls of that. Now, I haven't really tested how the revived burst mode recoil compares to the original burst mode. I have yet to actually kind of test that out, so I don't know how that's going to compare. My guess would be that it won't affect it enough to make it that big of a deal, and definitely not anything that you would say no to buying the gun over. So the best way I can describe this gun overall to a gun and compare it to a gun that most people know is it's basically an M416 CQB, any of the CQB variants with not necessarily less recoil, but a different pattern that is more easy to control. That's just what I would say, and that's true for both guns, not just this one. The damage drop-off is similar, the spread recovery is similar, although it's slightly faster on the Azazels for obvious reasons. Also, if you're noticing, I thought I might as well point this out, the scope is not actually attached onto the gun by default. I put that on there. I figured most of you would have guessed that, but just saying, all of these guns, both of the Azazels, can be equipped with a magazine, a suppressor, and a scope. I would suggest an extended magazine too, so you can maximize the 50 of 50 ammo capacity that you can get. I'm not doing it in this review because it's a review, and I'm not putting on a silencer, although I would usually put on an S1 suppressor because the damage of 43 is already so high. Putting on a suppressor is not going to change it from being a strong 4-shot kill to a slightly less strong 4-shot kill. So the suppressor actually does make a big difference, and I would say having that suppressor is going to be more worth your time than not having one. So that's just my personal opinion, and it's up to you whether you like suppressors or not. I would suggest an S1 or an S3. The S3 reduces flash, and the S1 reduces recoil even further. However, in many cases, the S1 suppressor typically can actually ruin your recoil pattern while tapping in scope or spraying in scope, and instead what it's more useful for is SMGs, putting S1 suppressors on snipers and SMGs so that you can keep the spread outside of scope more consistent. And the reason that's nice for snipers, I know a lot of you are going to ask this question, I'm going to get PMs about it if I don't answer it here. It's because when you have less spread overall, you can recover that amount. The spread recovery doesn't change, so if it has a fast spread recovery, say the Tango for example, not that you would ever put an S1 suppressor on the Tango because you would lose its one-shotting capability, or at least the little one-shotting capability that it has. So let's say, just for example, it has a pretty low spread already, but if you were to put on an S1 suppressor, it would maintain that very fast spread recovery, but with a smaller spread, so it would have less time, less distance to cover. That's the reason a lot of people will put an S1 suppressor onto an L9, and if you haven't tried that, I highly suggest you do. Take an S1 suppressor and put it onto a basic GP L96A1 and test it from there. If you guys haven't noticed, the Arctic Wolf and the Gile are basically an L9 with an S1 suppressor. At first, I was wondering why would that really be useful, because it lowers recoil, but what recoil is outside of scope how big your spread can get. It can affect that, which is why it really caught my eye. So, I think I mentioned it already, but I'm doing this review from LGBNerdy/Prophecies account. He let me use this. In fact, I have several reviews coming out this week that are being done from his account. I will point that out. I believe I have 4 of them. The 2 P90TR variants, the Vipers and the SE. I really wanted to get that SE, but I noticed he also had the Vipers. I asked him if I could do that one while I was on as well. I'd originally planned only to do the Azazel and the TRSE, but there was one other review I got done too, and I completely forgot what it already was. If I remember it, I'll let you guys know. But that's about it for this. I do want to say, if you guys haven't checked out the LCA video that I'm going to be putting out on the same night as this, I highly suggest you guys do that. I'd say it's definitely worth checking out. I really like LCA. They are a great group of people. It's like a kind of up and rising CBL that definitely has a great amount of potential. It's very well known already, and they have a great scanning system. I think they have an excellent admin system, and it's being run by a guy who's very organized. Big shout out to FUD, spelled F-U-D and then a bunch of underscores. I don't know how many. I think it's like 3 or 4 or something like that. But great guy. Really do appreciate all he's done for me so far, getting me in and set up and scanned, and obviously I came up clean. No, I came up dirty for hacks, but I had aimbot and chams, and oh my god, I had a holy crap. I had a custom life taker. I wrote it myself. But anyway, so no. Came up with some... he has a really great scanning system that works very, very well. I understand how it works from a programmer's point of view, so I highly suggest you guys check out that video and consider applying. It's definitely worth it. I really do think it's worth it, to be completely honest. $10 is a fair price for the iCloud storage that they used to charge. But anyway, that is about to wrap up my time for this review. I really appreciate all the subs and the views I've been getting recently. My subs have obviously been going up, and so have my views with them. Been really appreciating that. I have kind of cleaned out my clan again a little bit, knocked out about 15 more inactives, so we have some room to recruit again now if you're watching this video around the time of its release, so just pointing that out. Thank you for watching this video, though. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and in my opinion, whether you want to get this gun or not is up to you, but that's your choice to decide, not mine. See you next time. Shadolance out.